Good afternoon or good night from wherever in the world you're reaching us from. Welcome to another episode of Breaking Into Cybersecurity. Today we have Svet joining us, and he will be sharing his journey of breaking into cybersecurity focused on DevOps and learning about all great things DevOps. So we wanted to take a moment to join you. If you are sharing from LinkedIn, share comment where you're sharing from, and as well as give questions if you do, and then we will bring them on. If you're joining us from YouTube, hit subscribe, hit that notification button, as well as you can share comments. And then if you're joining us from Twitch, feel free to share comments as well. Now, thank you very much. Svet, did I pronounce that correctly?
Hello, everybody. So yes, Svet is correct. I'm using it for short for the people which are not from here.
Tell us a little bit about why you were interested in tech and cyber or development in cyber and how you got here.
So basically, I have since I was a kid, I was interested in IT and computers, but I got a little bit turned because I got interested in other things. So I finished my degree in chemistry and biochemistry, and I worked like 6 to 7 years as a different kind of engineers with medical, chemical fields, equipment, and so on and so forth until I realized that I want to be in IT. And I didn't know that much in IT in this moment because I was more or less missed like 10 years. So I just start there and start learning and learning and learning and learning. And then got my first job, and then I realized there is such thing as security, and I start digging at it. And it sounds like the most interesting part of it. I mean, the part that needs to know really, really well the things, and you need really, really want to know your shit, your stuff, then on the deepest level possible. And yeah, that's the reason why I really joined security. And yeah, in my previous job, I was like, yeah, I'm not learning new things. Let's go to IT, and afterwards, let's go to security to non-stop learning things.
Well, let's talk about your learning and learning and learning. Let's not skip any of the details. How did you go about learning? Was it self-hacking? Was it through
Uh,
courses, through college?
So everything. I mean, first of all, I've started like when I started in IT, I didn't know where to start. I mean, a lot of people go there and say, I want to be in security. I just didn't know. So I learned networking, I learned Linux, I learned very little about Windows. I got to coding boot camps or some boot camp like style here, and so on and so forth. And I realized that networking and cloud which was more interesting than programming, for example, or
Mhm.
Windows. So this is the field where I jumped in, and I've started pushing to the things that I really interested in. Even my first job was because I got CCNA.
Mhm.
So I got as starting as a pre-sales engineer. And yeah, afterwards I passed throughout one master degree here in cybersecurity, but it was after I get my first IT job. And
Okay.
during my master, it was really interesting for the people. While I was trying to get in security, they said, "Oh, but you are currently involved in master degree, so this is good for us. This is something that we want." And yeah, meanwhile, I just try to build my basics in all IT, in cloud and in networking, different OSs, administration, different programming languages. And I think this is the most important part that I never really focused on only one thing, and I learned from all of those.
Yeah, definitely. I would say having a good generalist approach is always helpful versus specializing in one thing, because once you understand a little bit of everything, then you can understand how you're supposed to function together and what they're supposed to and not supposed to do when you're talking to each other.
Yeah, and basically, I mean, this is the foundation. I mean, I really see security as a next level of IT. I mean, I don't see it as separate from IT. So everything in security for me is next level of IT
Mhm.
knowledge. So, but you first need to know the first level, and it's quite fun actually.
And so, and for you, did you have any challenges in picking it up coming from your chemistry background, or was it
Or
fairly easy for you to do?
I mean, in the beginning it was challenge because you don't know where to start from. I mean,
Mhm.
I know hardware. I mean, I knew how hardware functioned, but where to start it from? I mean, I've started from networking, and it was whole level. You can swim there up to years and years, and afterwards I started another thing, and you can swim there years and years, and you don't know what to learn basically. And to be honest, this is the for me the most important part of whole certification and stuff, which goes with some kind of a trainings. It's not that your certification make you expert from because you take some paper exam, but it gives you some frame what you need to learn. Because I don't know for other people, but for me, it's I can start learning one thing and then go to another, and then go to another, and then go to another, and in 10 hours I'll be looking through assembly code and yeah, how this works.
So you mentioned looking through a semicolon. Was that for a particular language that you learned, or
No, no. In general, I mean, assembly is something that's for different processes, something that is always interesting and good to know, but I don't have the time to be specialist in this.
so what made you interested in to go in the security aspect of it? Was it just the next challenge or the next area?
Mm, First of all, there is the responsibility. I mean, I have highly, I mean, I think highly of myself, so I want to be in the most responsible roles, and this is what I see as the most responsible role. And I always want to be the one that, I mean, I enjoy learning new things. And in security, I mean, you just learn new things. I mean, otherwise, this is part of our job, in my opinion. Be able to pick things fast and learn things deep. I mean, this is my job description. Learn those things that you don't know right now and start applying those one. And then
Nice. That's an interesting job description. I think almost in the States we have the total opposite, where we have job descriptions that are 30 lines deep, and there's no one expert in it. But when you put it like that, learn new things, I mean, that's the best job description there is.
yeah, know
So
your basics and learn new things.
what are some of the things that you think were the best for you to learn as you were coming into cybersecurity?
So for me, the best things to learn were something that I didn't mention, how the attacker works. I mean, for me, the most important part is how the attacker works, how the attacks works. I mean, this is something that I didn't mention because it came to a after the basic, you need to know how attackers work. So this is the reason why I was, but I didn't pass my exam. I still need to do it into OSCP course, PWK. This is why from time to time, if I have the free time, I'll go to Hack the Box or something like this. You need to know how attackers works, and the pen test is the legal way to do this. Of course, there are also other ways. For me, most important things that I learned in security is the cybersecurity Q chain model, just because you know how attacks works, and they don't work that different in the end. I mean, you can think of a model of how those things can work. So after you know how it works, you can stop them.
Very interesting. And did in regards to trying to get access to the resources, do you find that you had enough mentorship and guidance as to what you needed to study for the
Mm.
different areas that you're looking to spin up in, or did you kind of have to hack it away yourself?
I basically hacked it away myself. I mean, I just realized this sounds interesting, and I mean, I didn't have a mentorship. Of course, you Google it and you see what people you think they understand what they're doing, what they recommend you. So but for me, it was up to me. Nobody said to me and say, okay, you need to learn this thing or this thing or this thing. It was more like how I see the things that I need to know.
Okay. And I see on your LinkedIn that you're a DevSecOps engineer in neural intelligence. How
Uh,
how how would you dissect that?
so I'm basically in. This is my last. This was my last day in natural intelligence. It's a very nice company, but I got next challenges. I will be
Okay.
security engineer slash DevSecOps in a company called Kudini, which
Okay.
is involved with retail choreography. So what the DevSecOps engineer does is, I mean, it's a little bit of a gray area because a lot of people understand different things here. For me, DevSecOps is mostly app security plus cloud security plus specific things around pipelines plus everything you can basically automate in security. I mean, sometimes, some days I'm just like automating some stuff. Other days I'm working with an app security or I'm helping with cloud security. Depends. I mean, for me, DevSecOps needs to know all of those things or needs to do all of those things altogether.
Okay. And how are some of the ways that you feel that you catch up or you get to learn all those things? Is it just from you can't solve a problem, so you're trying to figure it out, or
With everything, I mean, it's different from different fields. For example, for cloud securities, it's easier because in the end you get your cloud providers, whatever you're using, AWS, AWS, Azure, GCP, whatever you use it, there is a cloud certification. You don't need certification if you don't want to show it on your resume, but you didn't need the knowledge. So you can easily go there and say, okay, I want to know how these things works, and I will follow the guidelines of the certificates. For the app security, is a little bit harder there because there is no, I mean, there are some app security certifications, but they're not in my opinion, the one that you need basically. So there is a little bit more of a gray area. But as my previous job, I was a security consultant for a company called DXC, but I was mostly involved in app security. So I've got people to learn from how to do those things. And in there are some really good books in app security that I really can recommend.
okay. And what about automation? Was that just from learning from experience, learning how things were supposed to work to try to automate it, or how do you go about doing that?
I mean, I've something else for IT from my perspective. I mean, in security, in security, you basically need to know how attacker works. In IT, you need to know how to program at least on a basic level. So I learned a little bit Python. I even tried to help with one open source project in past, but I just didn't have the time, unfortunately, to go there really to assist. But a little bit different courses that I take. As I mentioned in the beginning, I've taken even one almost like a boot camp,
Mhm.
but I never intend to be a programmer. And it was very useful. Not because I'm using any of the languages, because I learned C# and JavaScript, which I'm not using in day-to-day business, believe me. But you learn the foundation, and after this, you just get Python and start doing the things. And
So it
it's not
sounds
that.
like continuous education's a huge requirement then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know for other people, but for me, this is part, as I said, of the job description. You never stop learning. Not here.
Okay. And what are what are some of the places that you do right now that you're focused on that you think are gonna be the next areas that you're gonna start to study in?
Mostly, I will probably need to start study a little bit more of a compliance stuff because this is something that I'm lacking. But it's not really related to DevSecOps that much. I mean, I mean, I'll need to go there and to learn new things there.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, one of the areas that I know that is growing, that I've seen grow in the security community is security as code, where you take that compliance approach and you help ensure that the code meets that, whether it's for Terraform or whatever it is that you're building within those GRC compliant rules and things like that.
Yep. I mean, I can totally agree here with you because I'm not even pushed several things in my current job, and I'll probably push it in the next one that I don't want to spend my time on screenshotting something for the auditor. Like I can just show the code and say, okay, this is how it works, and this is what we
Okay,
do.
nice, nice. Um, do you feel like I don't know how to ask this question, but some of the resources are harder to get when you're coming into that that new environment, or what do you do to spin up in a new role?
There is no easy or no one answer. I mean, when I spin a new role in a company, or when I spin a new role in security, this is I don't get.
Both.
So in a company, you just rely on whatever the company is doing, and I mean, you need to talk to the people. They will explain you how they're doing. I mean, a lot of our job is in the end. I mean, I'm really excited about tech stuff, but it's a lot of it is people. It's like business job. You need to talk to people. They will tell you how they works. And about new things, I mean, it's different. If I can find some, as I mentioned, some course or some certificate, and I don't even go to those courses always, just go there and see what they put into curriculum. And then you can research for yourself if you have the time. If you don't have the time, find some course. But I mean, structured curriculum is the most important thing. And I rarely seen somebody give this to me, like at all. I mean,
So it sounds like you're a big proponent of self-studying.
yep. I mean, I am. Uh, if you have, if for example, to be honest with you, if I have all the money on the world for SaaS courses and these kind of things, I'll go there. I just don't have infinite budget, so self-studying is good. The problem with self-studying is that there are quite a lot of resources, and sometimes you can just drown there. And
Do you ever create like how-tos or documents on what you did to study for a certain thing or how you solved a certain problem to help those coming behind you?
I did not, to be entirely honest with you, and this is something that I probably should, honestly.
Okay, okay.
Mm,
Um, anything else that you wanted to share with us, to share with the listeners that are listening about DevSecOps that you think is important for them to understand if that's a role that they wanted to do?
I mean, first they need to realize that this role is fairly new, and it's a new role. A lot of people understand a lot of different things. I mean, I'm completely sure that I've seen a projects where are not like each other. I mean, I've seen quite a lot of different projects because as a consultant, you see quite a lot of things, and they're not the same at all. And it's one of the most funniest part in this.
Okay, okay. Well, Svet, thank you so much for your time and sharing
Thank
your
you.
knowledge. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on another episode of Breaking Into
Thank you very
Cybersecurity.
much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.